two of these, but my literal freaking power cut out for like a second, stopping the live stream entirely. So, gonna go over the grievances again. This is the real thing, and most people will see that as most of my videos. The longer ones usually are the ones that are more for real, you know. So, here's the first one. Obviously, this one is about people who hate the game, or say it sucks. Most of the time, they don't like it because they feel like it's gonna take them forever to learn a character. And there's no obvious training mode, because here's what you had to do before, is I'm pretty sure you can only do it now from this, but there used to be like a how to play option on the main menu. Now I'm pretty sure though you can only do it from here, but how to fight, and then like basically you'd go to like a how to fight option, and it's not like videos. You could also practice the character's moveset itself instead of just looking at it, which usually ended up having some pretty great turnouts. That's if you actually knew about this type of thing, but most people didn't, so most people didn't realize about this, and very, very sadly, since nobody knew about this, they turned away from the game, because that was the thing. Now there's a training mode, now you can practice it, and all that stuff, so. The reason I hate that, and also this is probably like what a lot of people would say, is, oh, Fortnite's better because you might, like, because here's probably what a lot of people would say, especially people who hate that I hate For Honor, or not For Honor, Fortnite. Most people would be like, oh, oh yeah, well, I'm gonna hate on your game, just 'cause they can. But look, let me just explain here. So, the reason most people would probably be like this is because one reason. And the fact that I say I hate Fortnite. Now, the thing is, I don't like a game where you have to spend 24/7 just to learn one character, or just to learn how to play the game in general. This game, it takes you literally no freaking time to learn a character at all, and most people would say, oh, well, it's better if you have to spend hours just to learn the game than to learn one character, and once you get bored, you'd have to spend hours trying to learn it. No, stop. Even before the training option was, like, more out there, because before it was very oblivious, so that kind of sucked. But even though there was this oblivious way of of training, there's still a way to train. Fortnite, you can't train the game. You can't train yourself in it. And that's probably why I don't like Battle Royale games at all. Because you can't really train in yourself and how to play the game. You literally have to play the game with any type of player. So people who might know the game really well and not show any mercy when you don't even know what you're doing yet. Especially in Fortnite, because you have to learn how to build and all that, which is essential for survival in that game. And let's say PUBG or H1Z1, all you need to know is what guns are better, and maybe how to drive a car without it killing you and your team. I don't know, but literally, those ones I would say are better than Fortnite, and I'd probably actually play them, just because they're not a Battle Royale game where it's like, oh, I need to build constantly. And as a guy who's played Call of Duty before and likes it, in general, take it from me here when I say cover that's already in the map is better than having to build your own. Because how Fortnite works is there's different areas, and I think everybody who might have played Fortnite or seen it, everybody knows the different area thing. Well, that thing is they're so far apart, and that's probably why I don't like the game. And that's just to get people who like the game just trying to hate on the fact that I don't like the game. Like, people always trying to say that stuff. I'm just like, boy, just stop. And also, what's sad is, this is just me kind of talking bad about Fortnite, but now most people would say, like, learn that, oh, this game took 15 years to make, is what most people would say. Well, Oh, Fortnite only took 11. Actually, it took 5 years in total to make. It took the dude 10 years to pitch the idea, not actually make the game. So technically, this game, like, look at it, think about the mechanics of how this works and all that stuff, and all the content that's in the game. It only took them 5 years to make that, like, all the base game characters, all their mechanics, and it took them about, like, 6 months in total to make one, so they had, like, teams to make all of those in, like, 5 years. So, not only that, but once they had those characters done, they had to make the game modes, they had to do all this crap before they actually got the game running, and most people don't really appreciate that. But the thing is it took way shorter than Fortnite. And looking at Fortnite, it's just like when it first was released to public, they didn't even have a look for the grenades. I mean, come on. Alright, now I'm going to talk about For Honor. But when people are like, nah, For Honor sucks, I usually think, did you play the game, or did you just look at the player count being pretty low, and the fact that maybe a friend told you it sucks when they played it and probably played poorly? Because the thing is there is somewhat of a learning curve to how to play this type of game. I mean, think of it as a 3D Mortal Kombat with instead of the moves requiring you to move around, all it requires you is to hit certain buttons that do certain things, and they'll do that thing. Basically, what I'm saying here is, we all know how Mortal Kombat-esque type games work. Is usually you'll have to move the character to do something, and then once you get them caught in something, you can do some crazy, like, Scorpion with ninjutsu type ape spam. But here's the thing is in this game, your combos are literally like the one where you, for the Raider, where you jump and pommel them in the face. That's literally X or A or whatever it is, depending on your platform. And then you press the light attack button, which is usually a bumper for controllers. It's very simple, and it's very easy to land, because most people don't expect it. And it gives a stun debuff to them, which really is helpful because they can't really tell what's going on. It's like realistic mode, but it's way harder. But it's only for a few seconds. But here's the thing, though, is the game's fairly easy once you learn a character, and especially when you learn how to master feints, because then you're pretty much a god compared to other people. And you'll destroy them in no time. And that's why I think that's probably why I think it's so annoying when people try to diss on the game when they either haven't played it themselves, which really makes me mad, or they did play it themselves, but they never played it good. Now onto the other part. How orders are filtered out. So how orders are filtered out is kind of annoying. So if you play a character in a game mode constantly, like how I'm playing this right now, then you will get orders specified to that. Now, most people would say this is a good thing, but what if you're just trying to grind that character to rep 3, which most of the time people will do that, because that's when you get good gear, and since your rep stacks and that's how it fills in with, like, matchmaking, it sucks really badly when you're like, let's say rep 30 for a bunch of other characters, you picked up a new character, or you're trying to get them the rep 3 and higher, and you gotta deal with these guys with frickin' really high reps, having all this crazy esque type weapons, and it really just sucks. But and that's probably why the AI Dominion's there, for like people who don't want to have to grind that long for something and it being a pain, which is probably another reason why I don't like that kills very heavily determine your XP. Because here's the thing, you won't get much kills if you're losing a match, and especially if things like this are happening where, so literally it wasn't too long ago, me and my friend, we were playing this game, we got into a Dominion match, and it made me so mad I just rage quit because of how stupid it was. But their whole team stuck together like a freaking pack of wolves. They were all together just like a pack of freaking wolves. They never, like very, like, you'd have to kill them to separate them. They were all with each other like that. Now, we weren't doing that, so basically every time it'd be like a 4-on-2 matchup, which I think is just really freaking annoying. And I see that a lot, and also if you're playing this game, this is another annoying thing, is rage quitting, and you have to be filling the rage quitter. Because here's the thing, if somebody rage quits, usually they're doing really terribly in that match. Because every time when I'm like by myself, I'm not in a group where it has to take the group with me to a match or something, and I play online, I get into a Dominion match where it's like 10 to 500. Then it gets like 100 to 1,000. That's the type of stuff I see. I've seen that very much, and it's always because I had to fill somebody who rage quit. And the problem with this is as the other team's probably using some type of bullcrap-esque tactic, like they're huddling together like freaking wolves or something like that, or something else like that, where it's basically just like you can't do anything because whatever they're doing is just better. And also, the other downside is people rage quit so much in these matches that it pretty much either becomes full-on AI for that other team, or one guy with a team of AI, which is another thing, is the AI replacement. Now, for most of the AI game modes, I think there should be a way for you to be able to determine exactly what type of AI you want. So, if you're a noob to the game and you want to learn a character or something like that, you can do that by having a match of consisting of level 1 to 2 AI. The 2 AI are just to make it kind of a bit more of a challenge, and then the level 1 are literally just to test the moveset. But the thing is level 3 AI should be the ones that replace other players, as level 2 AI cannot deflect, they can't parry, and they can't really do any good moves. Most of their moves are generic and more noobish than actual noobs. Oops. They don't and what's sucky about this is the fact that they don't frickin' have it so, we'll have a set one for replacement bots that you can't actually fight against that are about the average of good players, where it's they'll parry and they'll do all that, but they won't be as hard as an actual level 3 bot, so it'd be in between let's say 2.5 type thing. But basically, it's just so annoying to have a dude or two, 1 or 2 people left. And another thing is they don't even out or change teams, which brings us to the next grievance. And it's how teams work in these game modes. So if you're playing a 4v4 game mode, unlike duels and brawls, you can't just go find new opponents and stuff like that, to where you'll basically just leave the old opponents you fought behind and go into a new match, basically. Which is a good system because it keeps it fresh, especially for videos, for people making videos and all that stuff. And also, the other thing is that's a good way. And I think this should be okay. It's either this or the other thing should be replacing the system. But I'm pretty sure we all know how this works. But you got your casual little what is it? Thinking about it. All right. So here's how it works. So one team will stay the exact same team until people rage quit, leave, or anything like that out of any sort, and then the other team will. Well, they don't mix up the teams, they don't have it so you can just find a new match, which I think they should very much add in. Because then if you got into a really sucky match, don't worry, the next match can be better. Or worse. But you don't have to stick with it just to keep a constant grind and not have to load up a new match every single time. which I think is exactly why they should include this feature, so you don't need to leave, come back, and then load up a whole entire new match, instead of just very quickly switching to a new one, unless, you know, it's a slumpy day for Dominion or something. The thing is it's way easier that way for players to grind and not have to deal with filling in like a rage quitter in a very bad Dominion match. And also, your matchmaking sucks if you're getting a Dominion match where it's going 10 to 500. Because if you don't know this, if you don't play the game, 100 is for capping 1 point in For Honor, or in Dominion. 100 is capping 1 freaking point. So meaning, if your team doesn't have 100 by the time the other team has 500, then there's something wrong with the matchmaking. Alright, now I'm going to go into another grievance. People who think that either every character but their main is overpowered, or they think their main's overpowered. Basically, they'll think that any moveset that looks like it can't be like countered, since they don't really care about other characters, they only play one character, they'll instantly think that some other character's move is overpowered. You know, it's not fair that, oh, this character can do this thing, it's overpowered and all that stuff, and that's just like, no, it's not overpowered, it's pretty balanced actually. But you don't play this character, so you wouldn't know how many times this fails. It's just you don't pay attention to any of that, so pretty much what you're going to see is that character's overpowered. Or they think their character's overpowered, like it's the best character in the game. No. Okay, there might be a thing of which character's the easiest, because there is like even a thing where it's like how it stages how difficult the character actually is in the game. It also shows that, yes. But the thing is those people are like, act like that their character is the best and then nothing can touch them. But usually they don't even play that character, right? Like my friend Aiden with the Lawbringer. If you're watching this, this is true. Because most Lawbringers, what they'll do is they'll turtle and they'll try to confuse you with what they're going to do next. They don't consistently do the same thing. What he does is he usually does a judo flip, which will be dodged normally. Now he'd try to be like, how do I kill you and how do I land it on you? It's because I don't fight Lawbringers that use the judo flip or the shovel, or basically I don't know, it's just like where he like pokes you with the end of his like pole axe and then he flips you over his shoulders type thing. Basically that move is really annoying because it's spammed, but I don't play against too many Lawbringers. There are a lot of people who play him though, probably because he's a big turtle. Well, and all that. But the thing is though, is the fact that like here's how he works kinda. So you have a lot of counterattacking stuff, yet most people don't even use them as Lawbringer because they'll just block an attack. They won't actually, you know, parry it, which usually sucks because they won't ever use that. But the other thing is they confuse you. They try to say, oh, I'm either gonna light attack tap you, or I'm gonna do this thing. Like it's like you can't really learn it too easily. But thing is that's how you play Lawbringer right. All he does is he usually swings attacks at me, and acts like, oh well, that's just how you're supposed to play the game. They use a proper moveset. Like with Lawbringer, what I usually do is I'll like try to mix it up with combos and stuff, not like you do the judo flip because it's pretty hard to actually dodge it afterward. The thing is I don't play against Lawbringers too much that are using that move, but it's pretty simple to dodge out of the way for most people. I just never really play against a Lawbringer using that move unless it's in like a double team where I'm not seeing it coming because it doesn't really tell you what exactly it is. But these type of people think that you can't touch their main, and they might not even play the main right, or they usually get killed really freaking easy, and they still act like that they are untouchable. It's really stupid, honestly, and it's way too big of pride and ego. I mean, I know that there are people that are better at me than in this game, and I usually accept it. Heck, I had a guy who was able to actually ledge me as the Warlord just because I really don't practice counter guard breaking that much. But when I know somebody's going to do it, I usually am instantly ready. Like my friend Aiden, he does this really childish thing, which he would very much disagree. No, it's not childish, or he'd just say you're childish. Where here's what he does is, like, if you are out of stamina, he'll try to guard break you and throw you on the ground. And since guard breaking somebody when they're out of stamina makes them fall over, he tries to do this, and it's just annoying. But that's just personal thing. People who, and then here's the next grievance, people who only play characters from their faction and think all the others are terrible, or they're going by some type of moral code where they can't play any other character but their faction. It's honestly ridiculous. It's like, oh, I will never play a samurai, or I won't play a Viking because I am on the knight faction. It doesn't freaking matter. It's not like, oh, if I play a Viking, and it'll give them Viking troops. That's not how it works. I mean, otherwise I wouldn't main, like, knights, samurais, and Vikings. Like, it's just stupid. And when people act like that, because it's just like, oh, no, you can't play this character just because, like, I'm in this faction. Like, I'm in the Viking faction, but I played pretty good Kensei. And Shigoki, because the Fat Man is my bomb as far as heavies go. But I also play Raider and Valkyrie. They're pretty good too. And then I'll also play a bit of Warden and Conqueror. See what I'm saying here? I mix it up a lot, and I think it's pretty fun to play a bunch of different characters, especially when I know their moveset and how annoying they can be with their cancerous attacks. Like the Raider, just constantly do it. Like the way I'd play the Raider can be pretty annoying if you're not prepared for it. And then there's even worse versions where he constantly feints things, so you're ready to attack him, and then he can get like a parry in, or you'll try to parry him, but then he'll stop it, so then you just do an attack, and then he just parries that attack. Oh my god, like, you have to literally read his mix-up sometimes, because you can feint attacks and stuff. Like, okay, like, there's a way you can actually stop that, but I don't know how. I might have to look it up on YouTube. I shouldn't even have gotten that, but still, like, I think we all get what I'm saying here is, it's really annoying, when people act like, oh, I can only play this faction. Now, and here's the thing is, like we all know Aiden, here's the thing. He, like, acts like the Vikings deserve no respect. Like, they're filthy animals. But they don't have luxuries like freaking, like, they barely had any food. Okay, you act like it's not okay for them to be doing stuff like that, just because they are primitive and all that stuff. Just no. Okay? It's just no. But that brings us to probably my very last grievance with this game. You have to get more XP based off of kills in matches like Dominion. Yet, if you lose, you're not going to get nearly as many kills, and you won't get as much XP as winning in the base part of just winning in general. And it's not helpful for people who mind, but they don't, because usually they get thrown with losing teams or very unfair matchmaking, which this game definitely has. And a lot of people who really like this game know that too, that this game has some bad matchmaking, but they stick around because they still like it and all that stuff. But they know that there's bad matchmaking there. But here's the thing, though, is what I'm saying here is what was I saying again? Oh, yeah, the fact that you don't get nearly as much XP for losing matches, and it sucks because if you really don't care about losing, yet you really care about getting XP, then you won't ever really play online at all, because you don't get any XP out of it. I think you only get like a fraction of what the other team gets for winning, and I mean, you can't just have that in an unfair matchmaking-esque game, which is why I don't think it's real fair, or that you don't get the same amount of XP just for finishing a match of Dominion. And I think like the fact is you don't get much XP for finishing the match itself, but getting kills, because I think it might be the same. But if it isn't, then it should be the same. Because I'm pretty sure it might give you like less if you lose, because losing doesn't get you as much of a reward as winning. We all know this. But the thing is, though, is the reason I don't think it's fair on the people that lose is they don't get as many takedowns, yet takedowns are literally what gives you the most XP. Which is why grinding AI Dominion gets you repped up so fast. Because you get a lot of takedowns in those matches. At least 10 or more per match. If you're not playing OEJ that much. And also it bases it on how many times you kill the minions. Or the little troop things that... Or the little troop guys that you kill for the minion controlled point, as it's called. But here's the thing, the reason I don't like that this is a thing in particular is mainly because it very much determines your outcome in how much XP you get. And it's really annoying because you either need to grind yourself some takedowns, or the or comes in, you have to freaking constantly kill minions in any way, shape, or form. Now, there are quite a few ways you can do this pretty well, actually. Like the Warden, you can just fill him all up with a bunch of bomb-esque type of things for Dominion, and come at me, which gets you more renown for kills. But I don't know if it works on minions. I think it might. I don't know. I'll look it up. I'm trying to think of another thing. Let me just think. Think for a minute. Oh, I got one. This isn't as bad for me as for other console players, but light attack spammers, especially for the Valkyrie. See, most people don't know this, but the Valkyrie is actually really good and not that basic as most people say she is. Because I've played her, she's got quite a moveset. And anybody was like, oh, the Highlander was the first guy to have it, so you can knock people down without you needing to do something like the Shigoki, knocking them down, or basically what I'm saying is, he's like the first person to throw you on the ground and just have you eat dirt in the Viking faction. Oh, you're very wrong. That's the Valkyrie. Because the Valkyrie has her shield tackle, and like the thing is, most people don't know the Valkyrie's moveset. The thing is, she got pretty plentiful ways of doing things. She didn't have it as plentiful as like the Berserker or anything. She does have quite the moveset, and she really spams light attacks. So if you've ever fought like a Valkyrie main, now I'm not talking like a level 1 rep 0 Valkyrie or something like that. I'm talking like an actual full on like 3 or higher rep to Valkyrie, or actually just any rep for a Valkyrie, and that player has reps more than just the Valkyrie, like rep at rep 1 or something, then you know that you're in for trouble, because the Valkyrie spams light attacks, and the light attacks are pretty quick. Think about, they're as quick as the Shinobis, which are really freaking fast, as if you've ever played against a Shinobi. I hate that. I would hate those light attacks, but the thing is though, like, light attack spammers are mainly not a problem for me, but I know a lot of people who might be watching this that play For Honor and really enjoy the game would know what I'm talking about. But this is only a problem for console players. There's not nearly as much for PC players. PC players get it easy with this stuff, because somehow, I guess because of PC's like faster speed, it can have you react to light attacks way quicker than any controller can, and any console can. So yeah, and basically the point here is these types of things For Honor really kind of just make the game not nearly as fun and for the players. And I'm not saying there's like much of a problem with this. But like the only problem to me with this game, or like main problems in this game, revolve around bad matchmaking and all that stuff. But there's also a few other things things I might not like is I'm trying to think of it. Like, alright, here's a grievance for me and probably anybody else who mains Shinobi. If you do a backflip or a slide, where the backflip would be going off the edge if it was in real life, or the same thing with the slide, it will have it so you freaking die. You ledge yourself, basically. I've not had that happen to me before, but I've actually fought against Shinobi that had both of those, like not just one, and then I heard about the other one where the Shinobi can backflip off a ledge. I've literally had those both happen to Shinobi I was fighting. And one time, and the slide one was when I was the Shinobi. It was me and a bunch of friends playing a Dominion match. I was holding at point A, then the one with the big old cherry blossom tree is that samurai map. And here's the thing is what happened, and for this guy is he was the Shinobi. This was an online match, by the way, but he was the Shinobi. And what the problem here is you see they went in, like I bet they probably mained like Raider before they picked up Shinobi. But here's the thing, the Raider, has like Stampede charge. Well, I guess this person was thinking he was the Raider for a second, and he slid off the balcony and killed himself. Now this ledge you can jump off of normally and not die, but I'm pretty sure if you get knocked off and not just jump off purposefully, like a skyward attack type thing, if it's not that, then usually you're gonna get yourself killed. And just so you know, the reason I'm losing this match right now is probably just because I can't freaking fight 8 characters like the Shigoki and the Highlander because of their unbreakable stance thing going on, when usually assassins, you just want to be faster than the opponent. So they won't be able to land an attack, but you will definitely be able to kill them. See? Didn't give me nearly as much XP as if I won. Which again is the problem. And here's just gonna be my last little problem for a lot of people can relate to, is characters that literally are just bad. And most people would try to point fingers at characters like the Valkyrie, the Warden, and all that, because the Orochi guys rework first. I mean, I can get that, but no, these two are fine. I'm talking about characters like the Highlander. Now, yes, the Highlander can do some pretty big feints, but most of his moveset requires his unblockable stance, which is easily broken by himself or the opponent hitting him out of it. Like, it's not a consistent thing. And I just think that all of his moveset should just be something he can just do. Not like his unblockable or freaking heavy attacks, but I'm saying like things like throwing you on the ground and all that. That shouldn't really have that unbreakable stance. That should just be like, let's say like the Shigoki's backbreak or the Lawbringer's was it like long hand, where they'll where you'll throw them on the ground in the end, but like it's you're backing up and then you press square and then you'll do the thing, whatever it is. I think that's what his throwing you to the ground thing is, and then what shove and the shoulder bash thing is like. Well, I think that is how his little kick thing should be like. Make him so it's more of his moveset doesn't rely on that two stance thing. It's pretty stupid. And people would try to point out the Valkyrie, really? I mean, on console she destroys you. And also for Warden, I can agree, because how they nerfed him, I bet you this is probably how I nerfed him, and this is on to probably the last grievance of the video. And here's what the grievance is this. Yes. Alright, so the Warden's nerf for his thing, because I'm pretty sure this is how they nerfed him. I might be wrong about this, if so tell me. But they made it so you had to charge his shoulder bash now. And I'm pretty sure that's how it went down. I might be completely wrong, so if I am, just tell me. But I'm pretty sure they nerfed it so his shoulder bash needs to be charged up, which they did that because his Vortex had a thing where he had a thing called shoulder bash mix-up, where he could do his double light attack thing, do a shoulder bash, kind of like the Lawbringers thing, but with light attacks, and you can't really get out of that. Basically, you would do this, and it practically acted as like an infinite black hole for the opponent, and that you were fighting against if you were this character. They literally wouldn't be able to get out of it. They could just spam it all you could just spam it all freaking day, and they couldn't get out of it until you were out of stamina. But the thing is they nerfed it, so they just made his shoulder bash charged for all things. I think that's kind of unfair because that's the only move he freaking has. The other thing is like a deflect thing that doesn't even tell you that it's an unblockable, which I think is just stupid since it's not read in the training thing. It just shows that it's like, oh, you need to deflect this thing. I think if you like do a top deflect, you can do an unblockable after, but whatever the thing is, it's not said in the training for that move. That move, it's probably about like as rare as the Orochi's like thing where he stabs you. Like, it's not too common. I've done it before, but like complete accident. And here's like my point here. But basically they made it so you had to charge it, and like that, like the shoulder bash was his only move, and literally nerfing it to the point where you have to charge it and you can be broken out of it just sucks. I think what they need to do is add more of like the Raiders type thing, you know? It's not like so reliant on freaking combo chains that you will never pull off because most of them rely on like you doing lights to heavies and all that stuff, and none of them really do anything. And instead of relying on that or just trying to outsmart or feint your opponent out, instead just have it so you give him a few unblockables or a few like moves that he could do, like dash to the side and then he does like a stab or something. I don't know, something that doesn't or just make it so his shoulder bash is freaking back to what it used to be, if I'm right about what it used to be, where it wasn't charged, because I'm pretty sure if they have this like same type of move, but you can do it instantly with characters like the Conqueror or the Lawbringer, and if I can think of another character, I can't. But basically where you do a dash and then square and then you'll do like a guard break-esque shove to the face. Now, this doesn't work on the Shigoki because of his unbreakable stance, but hey, if you're going to base it off of Sumo, I'll give him that unbreakable stance. I mean, it's fine, because you're basing it off Sumo, okay? And also, he's freaking slow with those attacks, so it's better for him. But let me just explain what I'm saying here, alright? So, what I'm saying here is, let's say, so, you can't charge up your, you gotta charge it up, make it how it used to be, and take out the shoulder bash mix-up move, and then maybe add in a few more moves. You're good with the Warden, but the thing is right now he's just in the worst spot. Most people say the Valkyrie is, but if you actually like learn her full moveset, then she'll seem pretty much way more useful than before. Like, you'll see her as more of a good character that's really just not well liked by the community, just because of how little she's actually played. Over literally having no moveset that can be used. I mean, there's a difference between something basic and then something that literally is almost impractical. Oh, if you guys want to know the easiest character, Warden. Because literally his moveset relies for the easier part of literally just heavy and light attacking, parrying, and all that type stuff. The usual player. Not even something like, oh, you got this leaping thing, or zone attack can be like a unblockable. Doesn't even have something like that. He has nothing really. Okay. And also for anybody who might have trouble doing zone attacks, my tip: just press them at the same time, because sometimes it may not work. But try to press them, like, take your hands off the buttons and then press them. Because I have always, a lot of the time, done an accidental zone attack just because of this character's, like, unblockable fact with it. But what they need to do is give the Warden something like what the Raider has, or the Kensei has. But I don't think you can do that in a suit of armor. And I don't think he should have like a dashing thing, but they need to give him his own type of thing where it's not freaking, where it's not like, oh, okay, I'm gonna do a thing and it takes him like 10 years to do it. And something that's quick, something that like you won't expect, something that can easily turn a fight around, and when used right can really give you that edge. Like, let's say cross like that dash thing where you dash to the side and then you'll do an attack. Like, let's say it's that type of thing. And, well, that's really good against, say, jumping attacks or attacks like a, let's say, a shove or something like that, where they do that type of thing. Because you